Today, I would like to talk to you about your American Cultures trade books and what we're trying to learn by reading these books and how you can um, show me that you're learning something. So, the three books we have here are My Brother, Sam is Dead, Chains, and Fever 1793. So, why do we read these books? Well, each one is about a time period in American history we will study during our semester. Each is about a young person who is trying to overcome some very difficult circumstances during a plague or war or some other difficulties. And the idea is to learn about culture of the time and place you're reading about. So, what are you supposed to do? Well, you have the book, so we'll read the assigned chapters. I'll show you in a different video how you find out what chapters to read and which quizzes to complete on Moodle to show me that you're reading the book and you're understanding the culture. Then you're going to complete three trade book culture activities to show me that you really are learning the culture of early America. So some of the elements of culture include the food that people eat, the house they live in or the place they live, their family relationships, health and medicine, transportation, how do they move from one place to another? What kind of clothing do they wear and where do they get it and how do they maintain it and they're different clothes for different types of people and that kind of thing. The work and the jobs people do, of course, are very important to how they earn their money and what kind of skills they have or need to have. The three books, briefly, My Brother Sam is Dead, takes place during the American Revolutionary War in a small town in New England. And there's a family of four who are dealing with the war: the mom, the dad, the older brother Sam, and the younger brother Tim. Their family is divided about which side to support in the revolution. And part of the story of the book, of course, is that war is terrible, even if it's a good war that is being fought for the right reasons and is going to turn out right in the end. The war is still terrible. The story takes place in Reading, Connecticut. That's a real place, even though the Meeker family is a fictional family. They're having things happen to them that really did happen to people in Reading, Connecticut during the Revolution. A lot of the story revolves around a Brown Bess gun, the leading military weapon of the day. All the British soldiers used them. American soldiers used them. Sam, part of the story is him stealing his dad's Brown Bess. What we don't know until later on in the book is why does the dad have the leading military weapon of the day? He's a civilian. He runs a tavern, like you see here in the picture. The tavern in those days was very much like a Lowe's and Home Depot and restaurant and bar and maybe a motel kind of combined. So why does the dad have a Brown Bess gun? Maybe something like what's up here on the hearth mantle. Of course, the title of the book is My Brother Sam is Dead. Sam's death is no surprise, but how he dies is a surprise. Don't turn to the back and read it first. Fever 1793 is by Laurie Halsey Anderson. Really a great story. Just keeps you on the edge of your seat. This takes place in a large city just after the revolution when America is first independent and struggling with what to do with that independence. Washington doesn't exist yet, so President Washington is serving as president from Philadelphia. So a lot of the story is about what happens to the Cook family as an epidemic sweeps through their city. And there's a really interesting comparison to coronavirus in our day. What do we do when there's an epidemic, a disease that you are trying to stop, but no one's really quite sure how? Location of the story is in Philadelphia. President Washington's house is in Philadelphia, and it's important that he's coming and going at different times in the story. The Cook family runs a coffee house, maybe in a way comparison to the Meeker's Tavern in a small town. Well, this is a 1700s coffee house in a large city. Maybe a lot like a Starbucks today, where you might go and have some coffee, you might share some time with some friends, might get a light meal, probably not a big full course meal, but a light meal, some snacks to eat while you're talking and conversing about the issues of the day. Of course, the fever is killing a lot of people in Philadelphia, and the doctors don't really know what to do about that or how to stop it. And so, what do people do to try to get away from this fever? Chains is our third option by Laurie Halsey Anderson. Has to do with two young slave girls in a large city, mostly New York City, during the American Revolution when the British have taken over the city. The girls have to figure out what do you do with secret information that you discover that might help your side. And where are your loyalties? Are your loyalties to your family, to your employer, to your friends, to the nation? Maybe you can even see the eagle here with the American flag on it and a British flag on this bird, I guess, which is to be a dove. So what do you do when you know something, and how do you decide where your loyalties should lie? Change is the first of a trilogy called The Seeds of America, about the birth of America. Chains written during the New York City occupation by the British. Forge is about Valley Forge, and then Ashes towards the end of the Revolutionary War. A lot of the story takes place in New York City during the Revolution, and it contrasts the slaves versus masters situation that the girls face, and the Americans versus British that the nation as a whole is facing. One of the big events in the story is a big, huge fire in New York City that Americans blame the British for. The British, of course, blame the Americans. I guess we don't really know to this day who started the fire. So let me remind you what you're doing with these things. You're going to read the assigned chapters, and I'll show you that in Moodle in a different video. You're going to take the quizzes, and then you're going to complete 3 culture activities comparing your book's culture to your own. And that's what we're doing with these trade books. In the next video, I'll show you what you do using our website, using Moodle to complete these activities.